Welcome back to another episode of the 4Expedition Gear Guide. This episode is brought to you by Rock Pals, Northwest Overland, Black Label Garage, and by our 4Expedition Patreon supporters. Hello there, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of 4Expedition Gear Guide. I'm Scott Luthold. Today I'm out in the Ironwood Forest of southern Arizona. I'll be interviewing Team 4X member and good friend Luke Moussa, who just had an Ironman 4x4 lift installed on his 2017 Subaru Outback 3.6R. So let's get started.
And we're out in the Ironwood National Forest. This is Tucson, Arizona, on the northwest side of Tucson, Arizona, technically Marana. It's a beautiful area. Right here, this is probably the most discernible landmark in this is the National Forest, yeah. These are called the Ragged Top Mountains, and in here there's a couple things that the Friends of the Ironwood community have done to make this a really pristine area. One of those things is they don't allow target shooting. I enjoy target shooting. I do it when I can, but there's something really nice to be able to go out, especially for an extended time, and not hear rounds going off in the background constantly.
Agreed.
The other thing is also, you know, there aren't shells, there aren't casings that are left around, which unfortunately happens more times than not. People just don't pick up their stuff.
Right.
But other than that, this area, it's really pristine. It's beautiful. You have saguaros, lots of creosote, foothills Palo Verdes, and its namesake, and we'll find more than one, is the ironwood tree.
This is definitely more than just soft roading. I mean, we're on. There's washouts. There's rocky terrain, and it handles well.
It handles well. I don't do extreme rock crawling or anything like that. If I want to, I have a 4Runner. I can go do that. It does need some love and some work, but the amount of amenities that you get with an Outback, and I specifically wanted the 3.6R,
right?
Because I wanted to have an engine that was capable of towing power and all that. It's comfortable. We're on washboards. I'm aired down. I mean, the washboards aren't that bad, but I'm aired down, not all that much. The Ironman suspension's on here, which does a lot to absorb all of the little bumps and waves.
Yeah, more shock.
But when we hit a dip or in a pothole, you'll really feel how it absorbs a lot of it. Like you only feel it in the seat. It seems to travel and disperse all that shock through that hit through the shock very effectively.
Right.
The other thing is, and I'm not going to get too crazy here, but I mean, the stability.
Wow, yeah. It's responsive.
It's so responsive.
And like you said, not a lot of roll.
It's weighted down, even unweighted. One of the things I noticed with the difference between the Ironman and the LP kit, if you're on roads like this, or Spacer kit, I had the LP before I had the Ironman suspension on this. If you're driving on roads like this, they're pretty mellow, soft roads, you call them. If you air down your tires, it's okay. You're doing all right. Now, with the Spacer kit that I had, I mean, I went out of my way to put weight in the back of this thing. I think there's about, I'd say maybe 300 pounds or so. There isn't as much sway, there isn't as much play. You actually feel like, it does give you more confidence, you feel like you're more capable. It doesn't make up for bad driving.
It doesn't, that's true.
But it definitely helps you, I don't know if I would say get a little further out there, but it helps you do it a little bit more comfortably.
Yeah, and confidently.
And confidently.
Clearance is a big issue. Traction's a big issue.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things that get people nervous about going out into the wilderness with their vehicle, especially if it's not a
Look at that.
6-inch lifted vehicle.
That's right. Yep. And I mean, I think tires and suspension, I mean, those are the most important things that you can have on your vehicle, and you want to have good quality. You want to make sure it's from a reputable name, that it's been tested, that it can get you out and back. Most of the roads that I want to take to get to campsites and get to places to explore, if you do things like what most in the off-road community advocate for, slow as possible, fast as necessary, and airing down your tires and sandy situations, even on washboards, it really does a nice job of getting through obstacles.
So Luke, tell me a little bit more about, first, why did you buy a Subaru and an Outback? And then why did you choose an Ironman 4x4 lift for this vehicle?
So there's a couple reasons why I chose the Outback. At first, it was never on my radar. Then it happened that my sister, of all people, ended up mentioning it to me. She said, for what you're looking for the price that you can get something for as a used vehicle that has a lot of amenities for the price point, look at an Outback. I said, nah, I got my heart set on a 4Runner. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. 4Runner? Mm-hmm. And I still love them. I still have a 4Runner. I have a 95. I'll probably end up with a 4Runner again. But then I started looking into the Outback, and I started researching a little bit more and more what it was capable of. I compared it to the things that I do, that I like to do, which is out here. The roads, they're not very rocky. It's not super technical stuff, but this is a very capable vehicle for what I like to do.
It's remote.
It can get you out there. It can definitely get you out there, and it can get you back. So I started looking at what some people have put together, and I eventually came across this 4Expedition channel with Scott Luthold. And I started watching your videos and realized that not only did you get an Outback to make a capable car more capable, you didn't just slap a bunch of stuff on it and call it good. You took the time to research, put good quality parts on it, but then you went out and you field tested it.
Yeah.
So then I saw you doing that stuff. You live in the same region that I do, so I'm like, well, this is the same terrain that I'll be going through. And then as you were talking about it, more of the things that I was reading about the Outback resonated with me. So comfort is huge. This is a 3.6R 6-cylinder
got the power
vehicle, so it has the power, but with all of the additional accessories and the weight that I have added to it, it still gets really good gas mileage.
Yeah,
it gets great gas mileage. I know it can get me to a destination and back in comfort. It's not going to be expensive trying to get around places, because one of the things I want to do is go outside of Arizona, and it will not even just outside of Arizona. Arizona is a huge state. There's so much to explore. So I want to be able to have a vehicle that I can take on the highways. It'll get me there. It'll do it cost effectively, but then I can also go out to places like this.
Yeah. So when you were watching my stuff and you saw that I had a lift kit and all that, you started doing your own research. I was curious, why did you end up with the brand lift that you did?
So what's on here right now is an Ironman 4x4 ATS suspension. It's a full suspension system.
Front and rear.
Front and rear. It's not what I had on at first. I had a strut spacer lift kit on it.
Right.
So it's essentially a body lift that raises the vehicle to give you more clearance, but it keeps the same stock suspension and setup. It's not bad. It was good. I really enjoyed it. It gave me clearance, let me put on my tires and my wheels. And then our streets are real rutted. Tucson, Arizona. I live kind of out on the east side, lots of ranch roads, things like that. It was rough. I didn't like the way it was handling.
Just too stiff, or Shock, a lot of shock.
It was a lot of shock. It wasn't. I didn't feel it to be very stable. There was a lot of body roll. So then I started looking into. So the Ironman suspension wasn't even my radar. I didn't know about it. I was looking at like Rally Tech and doing springs, coil, looking at doing sway bars and all of this, because I wanted it to. I wanted to remove the body roll. I want it to be a little bit more responsive, and I was hoping that changing it out with a suspension system, which I was searching for, would take care of hitting those ruts and those potholes on bad pavement where it's just a shock and you could hear it and it's like going through all your bones.
And washboards too, right?
And the washboards. Well, here's the thing. The spacer lift on washboards and on dirt roads, air down your tires, it's not that bad because
night and day.
It's night and day. The spacer lift, it did just fine on the dirt roads for what I was doing with it.
Yeah.
It served me well that way because I'm not going super fast. I'm built for comfort, not for speed. So
I think a lot of people are, if you're an avid overlander, an avid off-roader with a lifted truck or something, you have no problem airing down and airing back up. But I think a lot of people that are getting into soft road travel are a little bit intimidated by the idea of taking air out of your tires.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. And when you do it, you have just a much better ride.
Yes, especially if you have the tools for it, right?
Yeah.
So if you have a tire deflator, many companies make them. And then you have a portable air compressor.
Right.
And you can
hooked up to the battery.
Hooked up to the battery. You can pick them up from anywhere. I get more annoyed airing up than I do airing down.
Yeah.
Especially with a rapid
Right, because you're tired at the end of the day. It's kind of a little time consuming.
Yeah, you got to pop the hood and do all this. I just want to get back home, have a beer.
But if you're going 40, 50 miles off-road.
Oh, if you're going 40, I'll stop and I'll air down. I'll air down for a couple of reasons. If I'm going more than, let's say, I don't know, maybe 10 miles, even 10 miles, I might stop and think about doing it. Not only for the comfort and to save wear and tear on the vehicles, especially because we're talking about an Outback, we're talking about a unibody. We have built these things out to do more than they were initially designed to do, right?
Right.
So when we can be easy on it, we try to do that.
Right.
I don't want
It's not like when you're putting all this aftermarket stuff on there and lift kit and everything that you're going to go out and beat on it.
Right.
You still have to take care and concern.
You do.
And you do with any vehicle. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So I'll take the time to stop and air down, not only for those reasons, but also to help make the roads that I travel not more enjoyable for me only, which is a priority, but also for everyone else that comes next and behind. Because if you're traveling down those dirt roads and you're doing it at freeway air pressure, that's where the washboards are formed, because the tires go bouncing up and down, compacting that dirt.
And before you know it, everybody that goes down that road is making it even worse if they're going fast.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, all that makes a big difference. So let's talk a little bit more about why Ironman. And I also want to find out a little bit more about your experience with Ironman, because frankly, I've never worked with them before. I've got other branded products on my Subaru Outback. And I think that's one of the valuable things about interviewing you here, because you've got something that I don't have.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important for people to be able to do their own due diligence and understand that there's multiple options out there.
That's right.
So let's talk a little bit more about why Ironman, and I really want to find out too what your experience has been working with the company.
So the Ironman all-terrain suspension kit. I was doing research, but just by happenstance, I came across a web page. I saw that they were just releasing it. I believe they had released it pretty recently at the time.
The Subaru.
For the Subaru, yes, for the Subaru, for the Forester, for Crosstrek, and for the Outback. They had some video of it. They had an installation video. I mean, and Ironman they've been around for, I think, like 40 years.
Yeah.
They're a solid company. They make a lot of really good gear.
A lot of off-road kits for other vehicles.
Yes, absolutely. So they were a name that was reputable and trusted, and I found that everything was packaged together. It was pre-assembled, strut and shock, and coil. And it's vehicle-specific valving, right? So it hit my radar pretty high for that vehicle-specific valving. Then I said, okay, this is a full suspension system. It's different than what I had, which is what I was looking for. I wanted a full suspension system. It came with not only the front and rear assemblies, but it comes just like the LP kit and the ADF, the Anderson Designs kit, and a lot of others come with all the components you need to properly space the subframe, right? So everything stays in line. So it had all that together with it in a package for a really decent price, in my opinion, for what you were getting for it. So I said, well, you want to know what? There aren't very many Outbacks that are built out like this. They just released this. I'm sure they're looking for some people that are willing to do some tests and take some video and try it out. So on a whim, I just applied for a sponsorship. I got in contact, I think it was even their online chat, and someone got back to me. They emailed me a sponsorship application. I filled out the sponsorship application. They were in contact with me, I think it was like 2 days later. And I started an email chain conversation with their marketing director, Greg Fagan, who's been really good to work with and has been an advocate of what I've been wanting to do with my specific Outback setup.
They definitely need them out in the field.
Yeah.
And consumers testing them, not just them.
That's right. That's right. Also, the fact that this would be tested as part of Team 4X,
right,
I think was a huge draw to them.
Yeah.
Because we have a group of people that are very knowledgeable in adventuring
and soft road travel.
Have
the vehicles that are at least modified to some extent for that.
Yep, that's right. And it'd be a good community to display it on, test it with, review with, and also go out to different environments and explore. Okay. So one of the other things was I have this big hog of spare tire carrier on this vehicle.
What brand is this?
This is a Rigged Industries.
Okay.
It's called the Ultra Swing.
Okay. And they're very heavy, like mine is.
It's heavy.
Yeah, it's very heavy. It's not something you take off and put on all the time either.
It's not something you want to take off and put on. This one is designed with a really cool wedge system. I mean, it's in there. I have to get in there and untorque the bolt and everything for it to come out. It's beefy. It's really, really well built.
But adds a lot of weight on it.
It adds a lot of weight to the rear end.
So how do you feel that the suspension system has helped that?
It's fine. It's an improvement over the stock suspension. Because the spacer lift, right? That's giving you a body lift, right? That's adding 2.5 inches to your clearance. But it's still the stock suspension. Right. So it's still the stock weight rating, the stock spring rate, all of the handling is still stock.
Right.
I was just looking for more performance, and I found it. It covers the weight distribution. It covers the sprung and the unsprung weight really well. It handles dirt roads and pavement really well. It absorbs bumps, and the body roll is practically eliminated. Yeah. The clearance is not an issue. I got plenty of it. We were able to travel with what we just did, what you shot, and that's pretty much what I do.
So I think with my Outback, I've got 9 inches to 11 inches underneath. Would you say that yours is equivalent, or you think that it went down some?
I think it went down. Yeah.
So you're exchanging a little bit of clearance for better traction and handling and articulation.
Yes.
And a better performance or a more comfortable ride.
In my book, it's worth it. Yeah. I would say that this would be one of the first mods that I would do.
And you do it again?
I do it again.
All right. That's good to know. Mm-hmm. All right, so overall, it sounds like you're pretty happy with it. Is there any other final thoughts that you might have?
So the difference, I would say, before you start thinking about the Ironman suspension, is going to be the cost, the difference in price. I would say save up, go with something like this. You'll get your money's worth. But the cost difference is, I believe, around $700 to $800
between the two options.
Between the two options that you have, my opinion is to save up. Go with a full suspension kit. You'll be happy. They also do offer discounts on their website. You can also get a discount through Team 4X if you're a member.
Yep. Log in if you're a member. Log in. Go to the partner discounts page, and you can find discounts there.
Mm-hmm. And they're an official sponsor of Team 4X, which is really great.
Yeah.
The other one thing I would mention for anyone that doesn't already have their Outback wheels, tires, suspension, if it's still stock and you haven't done anything, you haven't changed it out, keep in mind that you are changing the dynamics of the vehicle, and you're not going to have the same ride quality as you do with the balloon tires. So expect your ride quality to go down. It's still going to be nice. It's still going to be comfortable, and you will have cabin noise.
Cabin noise. That's absolutely true. Absolutely true.
Just be aware of those things.
But what you give up for on road, you make up for.
It gets you
tremendously off road.
Tremendous, yes.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right, everybody, I think that's it for this episode of 4Expedition Gear Guide. I hope you enjoyed and learned something about the Ironman 4x4 lift system for the Subaru Outback. If you haven't become a subscriber to my channel, I encourage you to do so, and be sure to hit that notification bell to be notified when videos go live. And if you'd like to become a member of Team 4X, go to 4expedition.com/join to learn more. Until the next time, take care.